The bulk of your body's testosterone is secreted while you sleep, and the lack of high quality sleep significantly inhibits its production. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 7 factors that are keeping you up at night and how to quickly fix them in order to ensure a steady surge of testosterone every single night. Alright, so the first thing that's killing your sleep is this thing right here. You can't see it, but I'll show it to you. Your laptop. Not necessarily only your laptop, but probably your smartphone, alright? These screens, whether it's your laptop, television, or smartphone, they emit a blue light which disrupts your body's natural preparation for sleep. And this is called your circadian rhythm, which is basically our alignment with the rising and setting of the sun. But these screens, which emit the blue light, which go into our eyes, actually disrupt the circadian rhythm by inhibiting the production of melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone that your body releases while preparing for sleep. And by inhibiting its production, that's what keeps you up at night while you toss and turn in your bed. In fact, research done by the phone companies themselves shows that the more time that you spend before bed staring at your smartphone, the more time it takes for you to enter into a state of deep sleep, and the less time you actually spend in that state, alright? So the action step is to keep at least a 2 to 3 hour gap between the time that you intend on going to sleep and the time that you last look at your smartphone, TV screen, or laptop. But I understand that this can be pretty difficult for most of you, so the next best alternative is to download the f.lux app on your laptop and keep your phone on night shift mode, which basically reduces the blue light emission of these screens and allows your body to prepare for sleep in a more natural way. Alright, so the second factor that's killing the quality of your sleep is caffeine. Recent figures show that about 83% of Americans start their day with a warm cup of coffee. That's great. I have nothing against coffee. In fact, I start my days with them as well. But taken at the wrong time, caffeine can seriously inhibit the quality of your sleep. So what you have to understand about caffeine is that it has a half-life of 5 hours. What this means is that if you drink a coffee with 200 milligrams in it by 5 p.m., let's say, then 5 hours later, there's still 100 milligrams of caffeine running through your system. 5 hours after that, there's still 50 milligrams running through your system, etc., etc. So in one study, they actually found that when subjects consumed 400 milligrams of caffeine 6 hours before bed, that reduced their sleep time in deep sleep by 1 hour. Now that's a lot considering that you only sleep for 6 to 8 hours every night. And another thing to understand about caffeine is that it doesn't actually give you energy. What it actually does is just block the signals that make you tired. So adenosine is a neurotransmitter that your brain releases to signal that you're tired and get some rest. But what caffeine does is that it attaches to the same receptor sites as adenosine. So it effectively blocks adenosine from exerting an influence. In other words, caffeine doesn't give you energy, it just blocks the signals that keep you from getting tired, alright? And this can seriously be damaging considering the fact that when you're tired, your body still continues to produce adenosine, but since they're not attaching to the receptors, your organs and brain just get overworked. And obviously if this is extended over the long term, this can be seriously damaging not only to your sleep, but to your long-term health as well. So the action step over here is to basically set an 8-hour gap between the time you intend on going to sleep and the time you have your last dose of caffeine. And if you really want to step things up a notch and actually have the caffeine have an effect, those euphoric feelings that you feel when you first started drinking caffeine, I'm pretty sure you don't feel it anymore now, but experiment with cycling 2 days on and 3 days off and see if that actually makes a difference. You'll realize that the caffeine will actually make you more focused and allow you to feel the better feelings that you once associated with when you first started it, alright? So 2 days on, 3 days off, try it out. It might work for you in terms of actually experiencing the benefits of caffeine. Alright, so the third thing that's killing the quality of your sleep is a magnesium deficiency. So magnesium is actually a mineral that closely relates to the amount of testosterone, which means that if you're deficient in magnesium, then you're most likely going to have deficient testosterone levels as well. But another interesting fact about magnesium is that a side effect of deficiencies of magnesium are actually, one of the most common ones is chronic insomnia. And the thing with magnesium is that it is the second leading micronutrient deficiency in Western developed countries. Recent estimates show that about half of Americans suffer from a magnesium deficiency. One study of 46 elderly men that were given 400 milligrams of magnesium supplementation for 8 weeks, after which their sleep was assessed during that period as well. And when they assessed the results, they found that the men who were supplementing with magnesium had an easier time falling asleep, they slept for longer periods of time, and had improved concentrations of melatonin as well. So yeah, man, not only is magnesium very important for your testosterone, but it is a key factor in determining the quality of your sleep as well. So it comes back like a feedback loop, because the less you sleep, the less your testosterone will be, the less your magnesium, the less your testosterone will be, the less you will sleep. I think I've sounded like a robot at this point, but yeah, magnesium is very important. So the action step over here is to simply eat more magnesium rich foods like dark leafy greens, black kidney beans, dark chocolate. I'll link out to my post below, which will go over some magnesium rich foods, but yeah, basically include more magnesium rich foods in your diet. And if that's difficult for you, I recommend you order magnesium lotion from Amazon. Just apply it to the center of your chest and shoulders, because there are some studies that show that supplemental magnesium doesn't absorb as well as the one that's applied transdermally to your skin and stuff. So yeah, if that's something you want to experiment with, try it out as well. All right, and that brings us to factor number 4 that's killing the quality of your sleep, and that is alcohol. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to the fact that having a few drinks makes you drowsy, and yes, research actually confirms this fact. But there is a caveat. Although a couple of drinks may help you fall asleep faster, it significantly reduces the time that you spend in rapid eye movement sleep. And REM sleep is actually the most restorative type of sleep, and not getting enough of it will seriously rob you of your focus and concentration and energy levels the next day. So the action step over here is simply to keep a 4-hour gap between the time you have your last drink and the time you intend on going to sleep. Also, you can drink more water to help flush out the metabolic waste that comes with alcohol consumption. A standard that I like to go for is an 8-ounce glass of water for every alcoholic drink that I consume. Alright, see if that works for you, try it out, but definitely try and keep a bigger gap between the time you intend on going to sleep and the time you have your last drink, especially if you drink more regularly. Alright, and the 5th thing that's killing the quality of your sleep is large meals. So if you eat a large meal right before going to sleep, that will seriously put your metabolism into overdrive and make it difficult for you to fall asleep. And another point to keep in mind is that your digestive system is actually 70 to 80% of your immune system. So if you're eating a large meal right before going to bed, then your body will direct its resources more towards digestion rather than towards recovery, which can leave you feeling more tired the next day. So the action step over here is simply to keep a 2 to 4 hour gap between the time you intend on going to bed and the time that you have your last meal. Alright, and the 6th thing that's killing the quality of your sleep is exercise. More particularly, exercising at the wrong time. If you exercise too close to bedtime or the time you intend on going to bed, I don't have a bedtime anymore, but maybe you do. Well, yeah, bad joke. Either way, if you exercise too close to the time that you intend on going to bed, then that will jack up your core body temperature, which will make it more difficult for you to fall asleep, alright? So ideally, the action step in this case is to keep a 4-hour gap between the time that you intend on working out and the time you intend on going to sleep. And just some scientific context on this, they ran a study on men who worked out at 7 a.m. and I think it was 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. and they found that the men who had the early morning workouts had a much easier time falling asleep and had much improved quality of sleep as well. So if that's something that interests you, definitely try out morning workouts. For me personally, I work out at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m., something like that, and I don't have much difficulty going to sleep. But yeah, keep in mind 2 to 4 hours before going to sleep, don't do any heavy exercise. And that brings us to the final factor that's killing the quality of your sleep, and that is anxiety. Anxiety is actually the #1 reason Americans give about why they can't fall asleep at night. I'm sure you've experienced something similar where you're just lying in bed, tossing and turning, going through questions that you perhaps never even thought about, but somehow they've come into your mind as you're trying to go to sleep. That, my friend, is anxiety. So the proven way to conquer anxiety, and I've gone over this in some of my previous content as well, but it is meditation. And meditation is something that's developed, it's picking up a lot in the West nowadays, but it has some of a woo-woo connotation to it. But I want to tell you that meditation is simply focusing on your breath, all right? You can download a couple of meditation apps like Oak or Headspace. Just go on the App Store, search for them. It's a very easy way to get started with meditation. All you do is focus on your breath and relax and calm and focus, and that will definitely help you overcome the anxiety that you feel when you're trying to go to sleep, all right? So definitely try and implement a meditation practice. Not only will it ease your anxiety, but it will also lower your cortisol levels and increase your testosterone levels and increase your focus. And there are a host of other health benefits which would not fit within the short span of this video, because meditation truly is a life changer, all right? So if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that you should download the guided meditation app Oak, which is free, or Headspace, which has a 10-day trial. Either way, just get started on it, because I'm telling you, it will truly change the direction of your life and make you into a more grounded and powerful version of yourself. With all that being said, this has been Mo Salim from tripleyourt.com. I hope that you realize the importance that sleep has on the overall quality of your life. Not only on your testosterone levels, but on your energy levels, on how you function. And if you are someone who's actually focused on expressing the peak potential of which you are capable, then you've got to make sleep a priority, all right? With all that being said, this has been Mo Salim. I said that already, but I'll see you soon.